Sweet. Cool. So yeah, another cool thing that, well, cool, debatable. Another weird thing that Sonic Colors is, I'm not as big of a fan of this aspect, but I guess it provides more, like, openness for how they design the levels, but essentially every world is broken up into 7 acts, which is a little ridiculous, especially, and it shows sometimes because some of these levels, including one that we're going to be doing pretty soon, like, I remember literally being, like, less than, like, 40 seconds long, so it kind of feels weird sometimes. Typically, like, the first 2 acts are, like, actual, like, 3-minute levels, or maybe the first and last act, but, yeah, they're usually some, like, padding a little bit in between with some really short levels, but again, it gives them a lot of creativity for how they can do level design, so that's not necessarily a bad thing. And you got another fantastic remix of Tropical Resort, and I'm just going to be spouting how fantastic the soundtrack is throughout this entire game, because every single level, it sounds so unique from all the other levels. Like, no level just, oh, like, this is just the same level I just did. Like, they're really unique. This level was less than 30 seconds. Like, do you see what I mean? I'm glad I brought that up when it was appropriate, because that level is a perfect example of how some of the levels are a little bit fillery, but whatever. Ah, damn.
To the maximizing modulationizer.
Excuse me?
I wish I knew what you were saying, little guy. Or gal. Or whatever you are.
We.
Oh man, that was crazy!
Oh.
I was pure energy, Tails. Do you understand me?
Did you go somewhere?
Didn't you see? I absorbed those aliens and got powered up with, like, some kind of wild energy. And after a few seconds, they'd pop out of me.
I find that hard to believe.
Okay, whatever you say. Can we go back to the elemental shields? It was so much simpler to understand.
We need to find Eggman and figure out how catching these aliens fits into whatever heinous plan he's hatching.
And wreck that plan, right?
Yeah, that's pretty much how we spend our time.
I guess. Or eating chili dogs. Who am I kidding? Sonic hasn't eaten a chili dog in decades. Oh, wait. Oh, I don't know. I was gonna make a joke about Black Knight, but I don't. Is the Story Book series canon? I don't even know. Sonic canon is more confusing than the Zelda canon at this point. So, whatever. Act 5. Let's go. We're just breezing through this. You can't help but bob your... This game is impossible to not at least bob your head to some of these tunes. Okay, so this is a great example of when the game wants you to do like a puzzle kind of area using the wisp. So let's activate this and just zoom right through. See, that's what the game wanted me to do, and not just like laser right into a wall or something. So when you do what the game thinks that you're gonna do, it's shit. Okay, well, I didn't hit the wall, but I guess I still hit the crystal anyway, so that's good. I'm not gonna lie, actually, like, aiming the... See, like, I didn't even have time to do that. It's really weird. I wish that there was an execute button for the laser wisp, because that was cool. I really wish there was an execute button for the laser wisp, because, like, pretty much when you're aiming with the analog stick, as soon as you let go of the analog stick, even for a second, the game is just gonna be like, okay, you're going in that direction, and it's really annoying because, like, you just want to, like, aim a shot, but the game is, like, really hair trigger, like, you're gonna go, like, really quickly. There might be a button you can hold to stall actually launching the laser, but I'm not entirely sure about that. Okay, well, we grabbed a red ring somehow, and we're just bouncing all over the place. See, at least you get, like, cool area. Oh god, that is not the way to go. Why don't those balloons have collision, game? You know, I figured the laser wisp would actually respawn, but I guess it's not going to. That's really dumb. I figured they would actually respawn, but okay. Let's try and get across this gap then. That was really lame. I figured the game would just respawn it right away, but I guess not. And, oh god. Let's see. Please don't be a disaster. I have no idea what was happening in that entire level, and I loved every second of it. Grab the life, please. Temper tantrum. So yeah, typically how it works is that you'll do like 2 or 3 acts and then you'll get a cutscene. So like each world has about like 3 or 4 cutscenes in it. But yeah, the game's like pace is pretty rapid fire throughout the whole thing. Again, it feels like developers really want to just take a step back and be like, okay, does anyone play these games for the plot? I know some people do, and Sonic plots can be good sometimes, but let's be real here. We need to like win back the fan base. So let's just give them solid gameplay and a really light-hearted story with some really excellent writing. Which, by the way, I guess now is as good as time. Oh, that's actually one cool thing I wanted to bring up. The game has this really cool feature that like is really smart, and I wish more games would incorporate it. Basically, whenever you're near a bottomless pit, the game will flash that yellow warning sign at the bottom of the screen. And it's as simple as that. It'll just flash that warning sign just to let you know that, like, okay, if you fall here, you're going to die. And that's really cool. And I'd argue, I think Sonic Generations is the one who did this, but the one who did this, as if it's a person. But I'm pretty sure in Sonic Generations, the warning signs that you were about to fall into a bottomless pit, if you fell, were actually like literal like post signs, like signposts, post signs, signposts. I'm an imbecile. Signposts, like from the end of the level kind of thing, except they'd have like a Sonic with like his eyes crossed out on it or something. I'm pretty sure they were actually like signposts inside the level instead of an actual like symbol that appears on the HUD, which that's cool how they took that idea and then in Generations they're like, okay, let's actually put it like into the levels too as like an actual like kind of like a gag instead of just a warding on the HUD. But yeah, like regardless of which way they go for it, which method they use to tell you that information, I think it's still a great idea, because if anyone's played like any of the Sonic Rush games or most of the games made by Dimps, there's a lot of dick move bottomless pits, especially in the Rush series, and I'm assuming Sonic Advance. I never unfortunately have played Sonic Advance. I played like a little bit of the first one, I believe, but those games and Rush are just bottomless pit cities, so that'd be a nice feature in those. Man, not a single S rank too. I think one thing, it's been a long time since I played, but I'm pretty sure one of my complaints with it when I originally played it was that the ranking system is really weird in this game, because essentially it's not about how fast you go. A lot of the levels, like if you go like just boost like all the way to the end, you actually won't get an S rank. A lot of it actually depends on how much wisp power-ups you used, because those actually add to your score, and it depends on rings and stuff, so it's actually not just about getting to the end of the level as quickly as possible, which is a little annoying sometimes. I feel like Sonic has never quite gotten a ranking system like perfect yet, because like Generations is the opposite end of the spectrum, where in that game it is based on how fast you get to the end, and whether you died. And I'd argue it's too easy to get an S rank, because like you're going so fast in those games that most of the time you'll actually just get an S rank like on your first playthrough, or on your first try, or at least an A rank. The S rank is determined on whether you died or not. Anyway, time for the boss. We've already blasted right through Tropical Resort, so let's get to the boss.
23, 24, 25. Ah, not nearly enough aliens.
Bah ha ha.
Want us to get more? No, I want you to get me a cheeseburger and a shake. That'll be easier. Cheeseburgers don't run as fast as them little alien varmints.
What I would give for a Sonic Happy Meal toy. One thing to actually note, which I don't know if any of you believe me, but this game was written, by the way, by the writers of Mad World, like the hyper-violent platinum game on the Wii, Mad World. The same writers wrote this game, which definitely a bit of a change in subject matter, but there definitely has a lot more humor than most Sonic games. Including that.
The boss said nothing will stop me, and Sonic here is going to stop him. That's why the boss was calling Sonic nothing.
Great. I thought nobody would get that.
Fine. You're so smart, robot. You take care of this mess.
He forgot the name of his own robot.
At least I know he won't screw it up. Hasta la bye-bye, sucker!
Oh god. Oh, that's so cool. They brought back his Eggman's theme
Guess it's
from
time for
Sonic
me to
06.
start stopping.
One of the few things good in that game was the soundtrack, as usual.
I get it.
Good job. Okay, boss fight, Ferris wheel thingamabob. So, one unfortunate thing about Sonic Colors is that as good as the levels are, the boss fights are definitely lacking in, I don't know, punch, because in just a quick little second, if we just land in the middle here, the boss is already dead. I am not even joking, that's it. You just only attack the eye 3 times and now you won. That's it. And I remember, like, when this game was at E3, I remember someone...
There in the middle.
No! There's no way it's in the middle. The boss has already exploded, but I'm sure I need this tip. Anyway, I remember when at E3, I read, like, a preview when this game was coming out, that, like, people complained that, like, oh, the boss fight, like, I did was so easy, and I think, like a Sega rep said that, like, oh, they toned it down for the E3 build or something, just to, like, make the boss easier, just to, like, get people moving through the line or something. I could be completely remembering this wrong, but it turns out that, no, like, the boss is actually that easy, and unfortunately that's a trend. To be fair, this is the easiest boss in the game. It is the first boss as well. But all the bosses aren't that difficult, and they recycle some of the same bosses a couple times too. But that isn't to say there aren't good bosses in this game, because there definitely are. But boss fights aren't really a strong suit in this game, or this series in general, in my opinion. Except for Generations. Generations, mwah, boss fights in that game, oh, so good. Wee!
Tighten this last bolt. Oh, there you are. Where'd you run off?
I did a little shopping, grabbed a bite to eat, and trashed a giant killer robot.
Oh, really? They've got shopping here?
This place has everything. Hey, so how's your translator thingy coming along?
I think it's done. It's in binary code, so only I can read it. Okay, ask away.
Who are you, and what is happening to your people?
Oh my god, I thought he was gonna speak completely in sign language for that. Like, oh, Sonic just knows sign language.
It says his name is Talks-a-lot, and he's from a faraway soda, and where water them with dances.
Yeah, I think your machine still has some bugs.
Maybe a little bit.
I think I can figure this out, though. Okay, he said his name is Yacker. He's from a race of beings called wisps.
Okay, that sounds a little bit more believable.
No, wisps with a W.
Yeah, I'll just stick with aliens if that's okay with everybody.
Hey, you can't talk to me!
Sure.
You don't know I exist!
Either being used for their magical powers by an evil man, or to make underwear to be worn by Sally. I just hear save them over and over.
Aww.
When I was running around trashing robots, I saw a map that had a couple of interesting places. I think I'll go check them out.
Or, you know, when you were riding up the orbital elevator to get here.
The boss man said to wrangle every piece of this mess. When you consider what we're doing from a robot's point of view, it's actually pretty gruesome.
Don't think about it.
If you say so.
I'm missing an arm. Have you got an arm? much.
Meanwhile, in the Tower of Imminent Doom... oh. Speaking of Imminent Doom, that doesn't look good.